What is the situation with Tom?
Yeah, the company has talked to him. I haven't talked to him, and Tom and I obviously need to talk. He came out recently, or his dad too, saying that they felt like I don't know how they said it, but that I had sort of shit on him in the way that I had spoke about, his eye. I said, I think he's okay, and I think he's going to be good. And they came out and said, no, that's not the case. He said, I haven't even talked to Dana. I don't know why he would say that. But, obviously my medical team is talking to him. I like him very much and respect him. I've never had a problem with Tom Aspinall.
The situation surrounding Tom Aspinall has become increasingly unusual. Despite still holding the undisputed heavyweight championship, the circumstances now make it appear as though the UFC is having to plan its division without his immediate involvement.
Have you guys reached out to Tom Aspinall yet about maybe booking that fight with Ciryl?
I'm not going to talk about that stuff. I'll tell you something that's funny though. So AJ just signed with CAA for sponsorship and all that kind of stuff. Doesn't Eddie Hearn have isn't that what he does? Aspinall signs with Eddie Hearn, which is insane. AJ, who's been with him forever, and they're probably best friends, signs with CAA to get.
I just saw Turkey Al Sheikh saying he wants to bring you guys for a peacekeeping summit.
Listen, the reason I got into boxing, one big reason was I met him. And I liked him. And he's made some pretty big things happen in the sport of boxing. This is his biggest challenge yet. That I guarantee you.
They haven't invited him to the White House. He's supposed to be fighting the winner. Really interesting what's happening in the UFC right now. They've got to be careful. I'm not going to let Tom Aspinall fight for the kind of money that's in his contract to be involved in a fight against Pereira or Gane for literally 1/50th of the revenue of that show.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I won't let him do it. And he's not going to, it's time that those UFC fighters stop being mugs and started to understand that these people are taking advantage of them. They deserve better.
Are you saying Tom's going to retire if they come back and say he's getting 300K?
I'm saying that my advice to Tom Aspinall, don't you dare take that fight for the money that's in your contract. You are one of the biggest stars in UFC. Everybody will be sick to their stomach about the money that Tom Aspinall is supposed to get for that kind of fight. Mate, you don't need that. You nearly lost your eyesight. You want to go back and fight for virtually nothing. It's outrageous. And I will not. I'll do everything I can to not allow it.
Some surprising news earlier today. Tom Aspinall was signed with Eddie Hearn as a manager. You obviously have some issues, Eddie. What do you think about that news and what do you make of that decision?
We don't have any issues with Eddie. They can get whoever they want to represent him. Tito Ortiz used to represent people and we got it done.
Dana White's stance is essentially that Tom himself is the only person who can accurately describe how severely his vision was affected that night. Whether he could actually see clearly enough to continue is something no one outside the cage can definitively determine.
Listen, we'd let the UFC know that we're ready to go, and we're just waiting for dates. We told them we can do it in Paris, we told them we can do it wherever they want. So we're just waiting for them to let us know. I'm in the gym, smashing.
We will be with you the week after. We'll come and film a bit of a sesh.
Yeah.
Got the boys back in town, so we'll keep people updated. But as we say, the UFC, we're waiting on them.
Yeah, I'm waiting on them.
But part of this process is I've been able to read those contracts and I've been able to talk to him about the purses that he's received. Take me back 4 or 5 fights. And the reality is that when he was headlining in front of 20,000 on pay-per-view, he was receiving probably half the amount of money that I would pay a boxer for a British title fight at York Hall, Bethnal Green in front of 1,200 people. And I was absolutely baffled and astonished. Now, obviously, as he's gone on, those purses have increased, but still to a level that I feel is completely unfair.
Dana White originally wanted Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane to settle the score in a rematch. What initially appeared to be a temporary setback, however, turned into a much longer absence after Aspinall required several eye surgeries. White has also rejected suggestions that the UFC is working against Aspinall, explaining that the organization has assisted him in locating medical specialists and is now focused on giving him the time needed to recover.
Considering the problem that you have right now, are you actually going to look at fighter pay in the UFC? Because I represent the UFC World Heavyweight Champion. I'm going to bite my tongue a little bit for now. But what I will tell you is his contract is a disgrace, right? A disgrace. And I cannot believe the money that he is on. When you look at the commercial revenue that his fight would generate against a Pereira or against a Gane in a rematch. And honestly, if I'm Tom Aspinall, I'm looking at that contract, I go, I don't even think you should fight, mate. But he wants to come back. He wants to rematch Gane. He wants to fight Pereira. He wants to defend his world heavyweight title. The time you've paid your tax and paid your team, there's no point in even fighting. Especially when you had 4 operations after your eyes got gouged out. Like, it is, honestly, it is unbelievable. But I'm really glad that it's been highlighted.
I want Tom Aspinall, as well as every other fighter under the sun, on the planet, to make as much money as possible. Of course, I've been there, done it, so have you. I want them all to get paid. But the reality is he's under a contract. That's all we were saying. So what am I debating with you? I'm not debating anything. I hope Eddie can negotiate a huge contract. What are we debating? Me sitting there and going, no, he doesn't deserve that. No, that's not what I'm saying. I hope he gets a ton of...
However, while Tom has remained out of action, the heavyweight division has continued moving forward. That development is where the situation has become increasingly controversial.
Last one for me, the rematch with Tom. I guess in your perfect world, when would you want that fight to happen, and how do you think that fight plays out the second time?
As soon as possible, like I like to say, Paris, for example, is a good idea. But I know let the staff of the UFC work on it.
When Conor Benn signed with Zuffa, he said Eddie should want fighters to earn as much money as possible. He should be happy for Conor Benn that he's making more money. I've got an idea. I would like Dana White to release Tom Aspinall from his UFC contract. And I will guarantee Dana White in writing that I will pay Tom Aspinall a minimum, probably 5 times more, but a minimum of 3 times more what Dana White is paying. Dana White should be happy for Tom Aspinall to receive that deal. I would like to propose that Dana White should be happy for Tom Aspinall, who is extremely unhappy, and he should release him of his obligations with the UFC and allow him to go out and make considerably more for himself and his family, because that's what Dana White's all about, isn't it? You know, he'd be happy for Tom. The situation with Tom is he has signed a contract which is one of the worst, most grossly underpaid athletes I've ever seen in the commercial world of sport. It's absolutely disgusting what they're paying, and things need to change.
Who's next big heavyweight star?
Tom Aspinall, the guy who just won the interim title. He's phenomenal. And he is, again, the next the next advancement of the evolution of the sport.
How so?
Well, because he can do everything. That guy's got elite jiu-jitsu. He's got elite takedowns. His striking is outstanding. I mean, he knocked out Ciryl, who's the scariest fucking striker in all of MMA. Yeah. And he knocked him out in the first round. And the way he did it was just picture perfect. And he did it with a fucked up back. He fucked his back up and wasn't able to train for like he did his back up in one of the sessions when he was, because he only got the fight call 2 weeks before the event.
I was just going to say, right? Yeah. Like, it's just,
he didn't even train. Early. He didn't even train. He couldn't train. He couldn't train. So he just went out there and fought. He just said, let my back heal up. I'm fit enough. Yeah. I'm in shape enough. I'll do whatever I can do in training, but he couldn't wrestle. Yeah. He couldn't do much sparring. His back was fucked up. So he had to kind of let it heal as much as it could in like 10 days and then go out and fight the scariest guy in the sport
ever. Yeah.
Ciryl Gane continued his career during Aspinall's absence, eventually claiming interim championship gold and now being recognized as a title holder, while the undisputed champion remains at home awaiting medical clearance. For Aspinall supporters, that situation is understandably frustrating, particularly given the circumstances surrounding their previous meeting. But it also raises a difficult question about what the UFC can realistically do while its champion remains unavailable.
Do you have any updates about the eye of Tom Aspinall, and is there a rematch in the works?
Oh, Jesus. Don't let me talk about Tom Aspinall's eye. Apparently he's going in for a second surgery or just had it, and by surgery, I mean injections. I have no idea. Get a quote from him. God forbid I say something about it. Go ahead.
We're Dana.
Jeez.
How close did you think you were to
Here's your quote.
Catching strays, aren't I? Catching strays in my own living room on a Sunday morning.
Me and Dana don't really speak like that anyway, so.
Ever?
No, ever.
Has he sent you a text or DM in the aftermath? Hope you're feeling better.
No, nothing like that. He actually, he started giving updates that there was nothing wrong with my eye when that isn't the case. So I've done a lot for the UFC, so yeah, disappointing.
The UFC cannot simply override medical decisions, nor can it leave an entire heavyweight division on hold indefinitely. Dana White may not actually be favoring Gane over Aspinall. He may simply be trying to keep the division active while the undisputed champion recovers. Ironically, that situation could make their eventual rematch even more significant. Their first meeting gave fans very little opportunity to see how the matchup would truly develop, leaving plenty of unanswered questions about their contrasting styles. Gane brings movement and polished kickboxing, while Aspinall offers speed, power, and a dangerous grappling game. Now, however, the potential rematch carries additional tension because championship gold and months of controversy are involved. Once Aspinall receives medical clearance, a second fight with Gane could feel far more meaningful than the original matchup. If Tom returns, defeats Ciryl, and captures the interim title, he would have a chance to re-establish himself as the undisputed force at the top of the heavyweight division.